Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And today we're going to review a little bit for our first exam, which I'm giving out on Tuesday. No need to be panicked or anything like that. This exam is not going to cover anything new. Really, it's just going off of the same sort of format and material from the homeworks. I know it should be pretty surprising. So the test is going to comprise of three different sections. The first one is going to be chord spelling and chord identification. The second one is going to be some four-part writing like we have done. These examples might be a little bit longer and include both the secondary dominant and the secondary leading tone within the realization, and also a little bit of modal mixture. And the last part, no surprise, should be some analysis, some Roman numeral analysis. There might be like 2, maybe 3 smaller excerpts to do. All in all, this should not take you more than maybe an hour or so to complete, but I'll still give you the usual full week time to be able to do it at your discretion. All right, so let's get into a review. What I'd like for you to do is get out a piece of staff paper, and we're going to go through a few review chord spellings, just to kind of get it started off. So with your staff paper, let's start in the key of, let's go key of B flat. So I'll go ahead and put my key signature on there, B flat, and what I want us to spell will be let's go a 5/7 of 3. So this will be your prompt here. B flat, I want a 5/7 of 3. So let's get a few moments to do that. Okay. All right. Now, if you need a little bit more time, go ahead and pause the video. For everyone else who's already got it down, let's check it out. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what the 3 chord is in B flat. And that would be D minor. Now, what is the 5th of D? It's A. So we're building this chord on A. So we're going to need our A. We're going to need a C sharp. We're going to need E and a G. So our A root, C sharp, our raised third, major third, our 5th E natural, and G. So there's 2 notes here that we'll have to alter, the C and the E. So this is what we should have for that in root position, an A dominant chord. Let's do one more. And this is going to be another secondary dominant here. So let's go with the key of, let's go for the key of G. So go ahead and put my key signature on here, key of G. And what I would like, let's go for one in an inversion. Let's do a 5/4/3 of 6. All right, so let's check that out. Go ahead and try it out. I'll do my own. Okay, if you're not ready yet, go ahead and pause the video. If you are, let's start going. All right, so the first thing we need to figure out was the 6 in the key of G. So that would be E minor. So what's the 5th of E? B. So we're building this chord on B. Now, if you start with a root position and start spelling it out and then move to the inversion, that's fine. I used to do that a lot too. So if we go from our root position, we would be building this chord from B. So we have B, D sharp, we have to alter that because we need our major third. F sharp, which is already in the key, and then we need an A. Now 4/3 means that we are going to be in second inversion. So what the chord should look like is this. All right, let's move on to a secondary leading tone spelling. Let's do this in the key of, let's go key of D. All right, so let's start with the root position. So we're just looking for a secondary leading tone chord. Let's go for the 7 over a, let's say, a 4 chord. So this is our prompt. This is what we're looking for. All right, let's go ahead and try that out. First, we have to find the 4 chord. Okay, go ahead and pause if you don't have it. If you don't, let's keep going. So this is what we should have for that. Okay, so you have F sharp, A, C natural, and E flat. So we know our 4 chord was a G chord, and we're building this chord because it's a root position. It's a leading tone chord, so we're building it off the leading tone of that chord we're moving to. So we have F sharp, which is already in the key. Actually, a little redundant there. Let's go ahead and erase that because F sharp doesn't need the V. There you go. It's F sharp. A, which also in the key. C, we have to alter and have a C natural here. And E, we have to alter to have an E flat. It's just consecutive minor thirds going up from that F sharp. So let's do another secondary leading tone chord, and let's try one of the inversions here. Let's go for key E flat. We'll just run out of keys. All right, so B flat, E flat, E flat. Okay, I have my key signature here. Now let's try one of the inversions. So let's try a 6/5 of, let's say 5. So here's what we're looking for. So that's our secondary leading tone chord and a first inversion over a 5 chord. All right, so let's check this out. So I wrote out in root position first. So our root position here, and it's okay to do this. I still do this from time to time. I actually just did it right now. Start with the root position because it's the easiest one to find. Just go down from the 5th there, 5 being B flat. Go down to our A natural. We have to alter that to an A natural. And then we just move minor thirds up from there. So A, C, E flat, already in the key, and G flat. Now, if we pull it into a first inversion, all we gotta do is just take that first note and swap it up top. So now we have a C, E flat, G flat, and A natural. Remember, for this type of chord, we are gonna have that very awkward augmented second whenever we start getting into inversion. So look for that weird augmented second. Typically, that means you're doing something wrong, but for diminished chords, that means you're doing something right. Now let's do a quick modal mixture here. Now this one, excuse me, let's go for something in the key of C. And what I would like is let's go for an easy one first. So in the key of C, I'd like a minor 4 chord in first inversion. All right, take your time, see if we can get this one. Love LaCroix. Love the absence of flavor. It's just bottled water. All right, is everyone ready? Let's check it out. So we wanted a 4 chord, a minor 4 chord in first inversion. So this is what I have. There we go. All right, so let's move on to a little bit more of a difficult one. Something that kind of trips some people up. We'll stick in the key of C. And let's do a flat 7 chord. All right, let's check this out. Okay, give you a moment. Something here doesn't like me today, so. All right, let's try it out. So what we have, we wanted a flat 7 in the key of C. So the first thing to do is go to our 7 chord, which is built on B, and it's a diminished chord. So what we have to do is flatten that. So go from B to B flat, and we have to create a major chord on B flat. So just essentially a B flat major triad. And that's that. All right. So the second thing that we're going to see on this exam is going to be some figured bass realization. So here's a little bit of a trick for some figured bass realization. We're going to keep this in the key of C, and say if we get, actually checking this out, okay. So say this is what we're looking for. So I pre-wrote down this progression, so that's what I'm looking at right now. Okay, so say we get something like this. We had C, 1 chord root position, 5 chord in the first inversion, a 5-6-5 or 4, so that's the first inversion, a 4 chord in first inversion, minor 4 chord in first inversion, and then cadential 6-4 at the end. So let's try this out. Now, the first thing we want to do whenever we're given figure bass is to write in the bass line, because literally it's just given to you. So let's go ahead and write in our bass line. All right, so here is our bass line. And we may note something interesting about this bass line. It's a chromatically descending bass line. It's kind of fun. And it's a well-used tool throughout music, beginning even before the Renaissance period. We found some chromatically descending bass lines. But that's probably a better topic for musicology class to get into all that stuff. But chromatically descending bass lines as a sort of functional thing is what we're talking about here for music theory. But that's just the bass line that we have here. Is a chromatically descending bass line. It goes from our root, do, down to so, our fifth. And then you might guess from the fifth scale degree, we're probably gonna move back to 1. All right, so once we have our bass line, which is given to us, the second thing we wanna do is to write in our soprano line. So we wanna think of the harmonization of that bass line to the soprano line. So let's try that out. Excuse me. All right, so here's the soprano line I have. And you may note, I begin my soprano line up towards the top of the treble clef and sometimes even above it. That's because it's going to give me a lot of room to fill in those tenor and alto to complete the chords. Sorry, tenors and altos. Really, the main deal here is a bass line, which is already given to us, and a soprano line, our exterior parts of the line in this sort of 4-part chorale kind of texture, are usually the most important. And the alto and tenor, we're just kind of filling out the chord. So giving ourselves a lot of space here will help us not have to, erase a lot. So after we do this, we want to check our harmonization. So here's what I do with that. Just do a quick check. All right, checking out our harmonization here. So initially I have a third, then another third, then a second, then going to a third, then a sixth, 4, and then 5. Mind you, the last part, the 4 to 5, is something that's part of that cadential 6-4 formula. Typically, we don't want to see a lot of 4s to 5s. We want to see a lot of 3s and 6s with some other dissonances around it, but a lot of 3s and 6s in our exterior voices. All right, so that's going to be it for this. We do have some harmonic analysis, but I have another video on that I previously released which goes into much more depth. All right, so that's going to be the 3 main parts of the test. Now, for next week, I'm going to be releasing a video as sort of like a composition starter kind of primer thing. Because as you know, we have our first big project, writing sort of an art song using some of these tools, these harmonic tools that we've been discussing. And I've already gotten a few emails of people being a little bit uncomfortable with it, but there's no need to be scared. I'll walk you through it. It's actually really easy to set up some, to set up a texture and start writing in some harmonies and writing in a vocal line. I'll work you through some of that for next week. All right, have a great week and we'll see you around.